When you think of Steve Jobs, who else comes to mind? Maybe another tech visionary who aggressively challenges the norm in pursuit of a better world? When I think of innovation, two names dominate the conversation: Apple and Tesla. They're the market movers, the giants. But there is one specific ceiling that Apple has already hit, but Tesla has completely removed. It's a hidden gem that nobody really talks about. It's the single reason why I believe Tesla won't just match Apple's valuation, but eventually exceed it. I'm going to reveal what that secret gem is at the very end of this video. But to understand the secret, we first have to understand why Tesla is actually just Apple in its rebellious teenage years. Apple is 48 years old. Tesla is 22. If you want to know where Tesla is going, you don't look at Apple today. You have to look at Apple in the late 90s. And when you do that, you realize Tesla isn't just following the Apple playbook. They're rewriting it to become even bigger. Now, to understand the future, we have to look at leadership. At Apple, we have Tim Cook. He's 65, and he's an operations genius. His superpower is efficiency. He's not necessarily the guy inventing the product in the garage. He's the guy ensuring it gets to your doorstep on time at the highest margin possible. He didn't invent the iPhone. He scaled it. Now contrast that with Elon Musk at Tesla. He's 54, an engineer at heart, and is known for making big bets, pursuing projects that have never been done. While Cook minimizes risk, Musk seems to thrive in it. One is a steady hand, the other is a volatile visionary. In fact, he's almost the exact same mold as Steve Jobs. Steve was famous for his obsession with the whole widget, hardware and software working together seamlessly. He wanted the inside of the computer to be as beautiful as the outside. He didn't just want to sell software. He wanted to control the hardware it ran on. Musk takes that Jobsian obsession and applies it to manufacturing. Jobs cared about the circuit board looking beautiful. Musk cares about the factory looking beautiful. He's famously said, "The factory is the product. It's the machine that builds the machine." While Apple today is managed by spreadsheets and efficiency, Tesla is still run by a founder with a visionary eye for building what has never been built. That's a dangerous advantage. This is where Tesla actually beats Apple at its own game: vertical integration. Apple follows a distinct strategy. They keep the design in-house, but they outsource the manufacturing. Designed in California, assembled in China, right? They rely on partners to put the screws in. They outsource the heavy lifting. They don't build the iPhone. Foxconn does in China and India. Tesla, on the other hand, is obsessed with doing it themselves. They want everything in-house. Engineering team seated right next to the design team, both teams on the factory floor. They went all in. They don't just write the code, they build the seats, they stamp the metal, they refine the lithium, and they built and own the 70,000 plus supercharging stalls in their global charging network. Now, why does this matter? Speed. Tesla built all 5 of its gigafactories in China, Germany, Texas, California, and Nevada from scratch. Because they own their factories, they can change the hardware of the car overnight based on what the software engineers find. Apple has to negotiate supply chains months in advance. Tesla's ability to iterate hardware as fast as software is a moat that legacy auto and even big tech can't cross. This leads to the most underrated advantage Tesla has: the talent war. If you're the smartest engineer coming out of MIT or Stanford today, where do you want to work? Do you want to work at Apple, figuring out how to make the iPhone 17 camera 2% better? Or do you want to work for the guy who is catching rockets with chopsticks and building humanoid robots? Just like Apple in the 80s attracted the pirates and the rebels, Tesla and the wider Musk ecosystem is attracting the builders. The mission and willingness to pursue the impossible, like get off fossil fuels or go to Mars, acts as a magnet to capture the highest density of engineering talent in the world. All right, remember that secret gem I mentioned at the start? The reason Tesla will eventually be bigger than Apple? Well, Apple is constrained by the consumer electronics market. There are only so many humans who can buy an iPhone. Tesla, through its vertical integration in AI, is building the Optimus robot. They aren't just targeting the car market, they're targeting the entire labor market. The economy is essentially just labor times productivity. By solving general purpose robotics, Tesla's addressable market isn't just technology, it's global GDP. Apple sells tools to humans. Tesla is building the tools that replace human labor. And that market, frankly, has no ceiling. That's the difference between a $1 trillion company and a $10 trillion company. Let's be honest, Apple is the gold standard of the last 20 years, but they're a mature company. They're about protecting wealth. Tesla is the rebellious adolescent. They're awkward, they make mistakes, and they're volatile, but they're growing into a body that is vastly larger than just cars. Between the robots, the energy grid, and the fleet, the ceiling for Tesla isn't just the biggest car company. It's the biggest company, period. So we have the 48-year-old efficiency giant versus the 22-year-old engineering gambler. Which strategy do you think is more sustainable for the next 10 years? The steady hand of Apple or the all-in bets of Tesla? Let me know in the comments below. If you like this breakdown, hit like and subscribe. I'll see you in the next one.